Hello guys, how you doing? James here. Um, um, Before I show you the video I'm about to show you, um, this one of this one person I really like his channel because he talks about the continent of Africa. His name is Go Black to Africa. And before I go to his channel, I'm going to give you a personal testimony about the people I've encountered. And this is a good thing. This ain't gonna be no tear down video of anybody from Africa. If anything, this is my suggestion to people from America. This is, and people that don't know people, not just from Africa, but they really, there's a part of us that celebrate when it comes to Juneteenth and everything. There's some people of us that have little knowledge and they understand some certain things, but they don't understand. But they never ever have any talk to anybody. Been in a group setting. Not too many people have talked to anybody from countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Somalia, Eritrean, Ethiopia, South Africa, Mali, Cameroon, Uganda, and I go down the line. Kenya. No one ever, not too many people in America ever sit down, and particularly people that look like us, don't sit down and talk to none of these people. Some of us don't talk to people, and some of us do, and some of them don't really talk to us. And for whatever reason, because whatever, maybe they seen what their perception on TV or what's been told to them when some people got to America, and not to interact. That could be in some cases, but if that is the case, we as Black Americans, some of us has said some pretty awful things about them, and we got to admit that. We got to own up to it. And so this Pastor Manning, he's been on YouTube for a while. He made to say the most egregious, ignorant thing I've ever heard Americans say. Let me tell you from personal hand, from talking with individuals that came from all them different countries and elsewhere. Before you make an insinuation, this go for anybody, you go into some part of work, don't sit back and make a generalization about something if you haven't talked with the people or you haven't been to that part of the world. The sad thing about it is a pastor saying it. So I'm gonna play this video and I'm gonna get back with my commentary.
Building and protecting wealth is more daunting than ever. Amid global market volatility,
What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside. I want to show you all this video of this pastor that is degrading Black folks, ignoring the accomplishments of where we have contributed to society in our own communities, countries, and yet to spew this mess in the ears of a congregation and to the world is nothing more than despicable. Check the video out and I'll be back.
Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy. Not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa. I know you're talking about Egypt. Egypt is not Africa. There are no great cities that were built. Even before the first colonization of white people coming to the shores of Africa or the slave ships, Black men built nothing. No sewer system, no houses above one level, and none of them made out of stone. All of them made out of grass and wood. Black men, before the white man ever got to Africa. The worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and Black folk. That was a don't care what he is. He can be a doctor. He can be an astrophysicist. They ain't got no sense. You talk to him. You talk to a black man. He doesn't understand the world. He's never built anything. The most the black people have ever done is did it here in America under white people's help.
These are all the black inventors.
Let me say this right here. This pastor here, who is totally ignorant to Africa, doesn't even have a clue that Egypt is in Africa. Doesn't have an understanding that Timbuktu, being the university of all universities of knowledge that people from around the globe came into. Whether you talk about the region of Mali, Niger, Chad, this guy here doesn't even have an understanding of even the accomplishments that people have done. It was a European who came into the continent of Africa, not only in Egypt, to pillage it, to steal from it, the history, the developments, who had sewer systems, electricity thousands of years ago, but also finding the Sahara where they say the Lost Atlanta is. These underground cities have been found throughout the continents that have been around in existence for thousands of years. To include when they colonized Africa, separating it, pillaging it, robbing it, taking out artifacts to send back to their countries. Specifically South Africa that he speaks of. That they had an agenda to remove a people out of the land where the Garden of Eden was, to protect the history and those things that remain underground so that others won't get their hands on it. This is a proven fact. You talk about no structures that man has built. What do you think the colonizers came in to destroy and to be able to smooth over? You see, you might be all up on Europeans' civilization mindsets just because we are a people who are closer to nature, closer to earth. It don't take skyscrapers to be a rocket science. You see, it takes the spirit. And if this man had any spirit, this preacher man, he would read his Bible to see all that he worshiped in that Bible were none but men that were agriculturalists, men who had animals, people who had trades, who made things, created things. But he wants you to believe that we came up and invented nothing. Well, let's just go down memory lane. Because even then, when we've had contributed to societies, was no patents out. That many of ideas that were stolen, that were taken, and to be only put in the hands of those who wants to take the credit. When it is for a fact, we were in tune with science, medical, we knew geography, we knew outer space and the planets, the stars before microscopes and all that before they knew it. To this day, many inventors and people who have created and built things have been either swept under the rug or bought out. But let's go a little further. Because if you think that the Europeans have created and built everything, what are some of the things they built that is totally against humanity? The fighter jets, the battleships, the submarines, the nuclear bombs that have devastated communities and countries that kill millions and billions over the years. Yes, it's called war. Oh, they've invented things. Things like pornography. These things of perversion that has opened up doors to sex trafficking and stealing people and children. Oh, let's talk about, yes, there are great ideas of having a military to be able to put sanctions against a country, embargoes against a country, causing countries to collapse, all because they would not even go by their way in rights of LGBT, or not bending over backwards to comply to their selfish gains of trying to get resources out of the soil. That was a devastation that killed millions of Africans. Oh yeah, they got great ideas. You see, when they have satellites to spy and to take information, to take your freedoms, oh yeah, they've came up with these ideas. You see, when they came up with the ideas to have prison systems to only put black folk in it, 80% in America, only to create judicial systems against the people of color. Oh yes, they've created a lot of things. Let's not forget that whatever we have achieved in life have always been swept under the rug. But I'm going to give him something in what he says. If it is true what he says, he being a black man, he spoke of himself, which then, if black folks are crazy and out of their mind, he just proved his own point by him speaking. So those who want to believe the rhetoric, let me tell you this right here, and I've said it once, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. America has made people sick.
All over the earth, God is raising up a new breed of wealth builders who will use their money to shape the...
And before I go and finish this video, he's absolutely right. And let me by saying this, you don't know the politics in Africa. Maybe that's why some people, you need to sit down and before you make any person make a statement like that, need to talk with people. They don't tell you how maybe that there might be a few individuals that got corrupted. And like he was saying, that they know that they try to prey on them with resources and trinkets. But they don't, and that comes from some of these other European, other countries and America to get what they want that causes instability in their country. Because you got some few select individuals that are sellouts. And that's a fact. Number two, you know what's really crazy about, and people say the Africans. You got a whole continent of people from the continent of Africa, but you never call about their single country. Let me give you an example. This man told me something this one time. This Liberian man told me this. Most Americans are dumb as hell when it comes to some places in the world. Some of us is dumb as hell. Some of us has been and interact with people that came from other places here, and some of us who have had the pleasure of traveling through school, business, and military, they have more of an open mind. But the certain percentage of people you gonna come in America, they dumb as hell. This man said this to this man, and this was a Liberian man from Liberia. You know, and after they get because people want to know where you're from, and even though the man had empathy for the country of South African President Nelson Mandela, but that was not his president. His president was from Liberia. But when people think that Africa, they think that man represent all of Africa. You got people in general in America that think like that. They go to there's a certain places in a rural area in Africa, and they think that in a form of stereotype that there's people in rural areas in certain situations which is corrupted by government and things and outsiders that cause them to be so territorial. We don't know nothing about those people. You haven't sat down and talked. Pastor Manny have never talked to any of those people. And if he knew some pastors that here in America, you just insulted them. You insulted the whole continent, even the ones that only speak and speak other languages, you just insulted them. Because you sit there and you insult the whole continent, literally, of people. And that video is probably went to some places over in the continent of Africa, different countries in Africa. I hope he don't go try to spread the word, because he might not even be welcome over there. See, sometimes when you start running your mouth, you need to think about what you're running about. Because maybe if you have a sense, and God was not pleased, you just shut the door down to maybe some people who maybe in a small village in a continent might use your word, Pastor Manny. You just insulted it. See, some people just speak things and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And they haven't talked to us, and this is true. We don't interact with people, and they don't. Some of them don't interact with us because they hear stupid stuff like that. You don't have no idea who their customer is, and you make some ignorant claim. I know another young lady, because she's a small frame woman, but somebody said some of the most ignorant. They was getting real personal about her country, and then they said, "Oh, you poor thing. Here's a little money because maybe you can buy you some food." Dude, she's in America. She's making good money, and I'm like, are you serious? And, some people say some of the stupidest stuff, and I'm like, man, don't go to Africa if you got that kind of mindset. Do not go to Africa with the mindset. And I'm a bigger person at point. Why don't you talk to the people here and get accustomed to the people here that are from the different places in Africa before you go over there? I mean, get to know some people here from Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, and all these different places. So when you go over there, you have an idea what their custom is. You have an idea. You seeing life from their point of view. You understand them and what's going on in their home country, in their own nation and things like that. Don't just sit there and just rattle off something and insult something that you don't know. You don't know nothing about those names and what caused it to happen. There's a lot of, and there might be some places is going through a rough time over there with their politics and their leaders and stuff like that. But to sit down and insult them, it's almost like you insulting their history, insulting the greatness that's in their country. People that do something like that, is ignorant. Some of us ain't never been out the damn. Some of us Americans ain't never been to another state in the United States, let alone been out the doggone country. That's like me making a statement about somebody in California, and say, yeah, those Californians are this and all them Californians are that, but I've never been to California until I go to California. And I just and then I pick out a certain demographic of people, which is black people, and not really talk with black people from California. You know what I'm saying? Now I just go out there and make the general statement on somebody. They ain't said some ignorant stuff like that. And I don't know what black people made what they invented in California. At least I could talk to some black person from California, or let's say Texas or Mississippi, before you just make some ignorant generalization statement like this. I'm sorry. No, you sound ignorant. That's ignorant as hell, being a so-called man of God. You just close the door to some people. See, some people don't think like this. Sometimes it's not good to just say stuff like this, especially and social goes out to social media, because you just closed the door to many people that maybe God had an open door for you to minister to those people if you a man of God of the Word. I'm bringing from a different perspective, and I'm gonna get back to him. But some people that's so we know some of us get up in leadership and get bold enough because we get a crowd, and we don't think about, just because you bold speaking, you need to think about what's come later. Have you ever sat down and think that what does this do for the glory of God, especially when you're a pastor?
Who will use their money to shape the course of world history without building a goal.
America has made people sick. You see, their ideologies that confuses our children. Boy can be a girl and girl can be a boy. They're up at Congress arguing about what is a woman. You see, this is the land of confusion.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where he has become confused. That spirit that has dropped on all men, whether you black, white, oriental, Muslim, whether you're Mexican, no matter where you come, the people who come in this country of America has suffered greatly spiritually and lost much. But when you go to Africa and you go to the village, the people who have the life of liberty and freedoms, who they might have structures that are definitely brick, some that might be mud and grass houses that are stronger than these wooden houses in America, or whether they have a knack to know how to survive through anything. The attempts of diseases put in by the Europeans, the attempts of poisoning waters, the attempts of colonizations to screw minds up. We are a people that are strong. We are a people who have a strong spirituality. It was not until they came in and diseased the minds of a people. It was not till they were the ones who served that Christianity that you serve that corrupted their mindsets. Who walk around with images of a white man called Jesus and worship and bow down. That same Christianity you serve. Don't talk about because a civilization has skyscrapers and fighter jets and battleships, nuclear weapons, that it makes you smarter than the man who could be at base and be humble. I'll take Africa any day over damn Erica. Put the D in front of America and capitalize the E. Damn Erica. This is your man, not your boy. Bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
Now I'm going to finish it up from here. Exactly. He's absolutely right. And unfortunately, a part of Christianity did do this. Part of it did. You know, make some good Christians. We know that all Christians ain't like that, just like any other religion. Some company other religions. However, it's the concept of what they did. They manipulate. That's true. There were some people that use it for their own gain, to show them the image of what the image is, and use the image of what we believe is the one who came into the world. That's true. And another thing is what he said about the infrastructure is and that's what we've been, like you said, from a European thinking. That's true. We were all made to think like a European. See, it's like, everybody learned in America how to look down on other people when we come over here. We ain't like those other, we look at the bottom of those people and say that we ain't like those people, and then you have people individually that think like this in America. I mean, you can go down to any ethnic Euro, whatever group, to what you got people in the black community fighting on stuff like this. On who's an Aborigine, who was a slave, and who was it this. And no, we was this, and we would arguing over things that's minute. And I have played stories where there was a man that was from Saudi Arabia. He was a Muslim. That has had nothing to do, but he was put over here on slave ship and put in slavery, like the ones that were probably from the other tribes that was not non-Muslim. There was ancient Hebrews that were slaves that spoke wrote Hebraic, and there was a church in the South that because they kept it quiet, so the mysteries was written on the bench. Pastor Kelly talks about that on We Woke's channel, and there's a church down in Savannah, Georgia that people go into tour to. So they would. So it would basically, whether you was a northern black, you were doing slavery. This is what America don't tell you about. There were blacks that were free, that were thrown in when the slave catchers, they couldn't find a slave. They captured a free black man. And they didn't have to honor his papers, so he was thrown back into slavery and put on a plantation. And it didn't matter he was from the north or from the south, because when they came bounty hunting, I don't know, grab a black man just like they do now, and take him back and put him on the plantation. That's what they did. This is what your damn America did, and this is what they got you think. That's what they got to thinking. Then when they control what you were able to read, what was in the Bible. There's actually I don't know, I forget, I don't know if it's Washington D.C., but they actually had a Bible with the slave Bible, and all the pictures were ripped out of the Bible. And was given a Bible, what scriptures to read. This is how but people like Pastor Manning, when he was during slavery time, he would have to be reading whatever his headmaster would have told him to read. That's a fact. And so, what room are we got to say something? Meanwhile, those slaves were inventing things, the cotton gin, the different items. You have some of the most greatest inventors, from heart surgeons to people that make elevators. You have black towns. What is he talking about? Roselawn, Tulsa, and other black towns. What is he talking about? Black people didn't build nothing. That's the most ignorant thing to say. Not even ignorant, even black people in America. That's ignorant to the descendants of the Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Plantation, Florida, and other black people that have invented stuff across this country and had their own towns, had their own areas. We're still finding out what black people have done. And they actually had their own town. Black Americans had their own town. They had their own transportation companies. Black men did. Black women invented things. There was the first black millionaire. What are you talking about? Built up her own industry that employed black women with hair care products. What are you talking about, Pastor Man? What the hell are you talking about? We didn't build nothing. Really? And then I said, and then it was a disagreement. And the only reason why the black towns was demolished, the African American mostly towns, and I made a series on my video because it was alleged, it was a lie. That they had to prove to make it seem like there was a white woman that got assaulted, and that they looked at, give that black person up who insulted this white woman. And if they didn't, they would put the whole town, that black town, under terror. And if they didn't give it up, we're going to burn the whole town down. And descendants had to run, Pastor Manning. This is what happened in America. This is what happened in different parts of the country that were black towns that started their own council, farming. There were black people that had their own beaches and lakes. But they had, what are you talking about? And they couldn't hold on because of corruption, like they did corrupted in certain parts of Africa. They had the same corruption over here. And they'll find one black person to take down whatever. They'll use someone like a Du Bois. 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 They'll use someone like a Du W. Du Bois to take down a Marcus Garvey, who built up a Skyliner and was going to repatriate black people back to Liberia and other places. But Du Bois stopped that and allowed Hoover to let J. Edgar Hoover put charges on Garvey. Because at the time, when Marcus Garvey was living, they were lynching people in different parts of the country. They were killing, and their justifiably death came among African Americans, the black Americans, in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. And the only way Marcus Garvey thought he would, he said, I'm going to make my people, and he started in New York and got up money to build up his own company, so he's about to have ships take blacks back to Africa. This is fact. So there was a black man that was willing to take ships to take his own people because America wanted separation, right? They want separation, and so they said, okay, we're gonna separate from you. But there were other black people that didn't like Marcus Garvey because they thought he was a commie and everything else. This is what Pastor man. This is on this American shore. To get up in front of a congregation and say something like that, he's ignorant. That's true. And then it was and then the black politicians they were handpicked like they were handpicking other parts of the world, and so, because they want what, like he said, they want their own agenda. That's what you black people in the building think. And like he said, they would sabotage it. They did the same thing over here. When black people have something, they sabotage it. And they still sabotaging something what black people do. When you can try to get a home, they sabotage it. The own land, they sabotage it. There's a black farmer out there in Colorado trying to feed only that, but feed his community. And you got people out there trying to sabotage the land. Pastor Manning. The man having it just like any other farmer who wants to contribute to the American society, American farmers, cattle ranchers, and everything. And they don't get the help in the government. And they help put food on plate, just like the white farmers and other farmers. But they got to go through discrimination because they can't keep them in bondage. And you got stupid Negroes like you sit up there saying something like this. The black man haven't built none. Bull crap. I just gotta say, no, you just ignorant. And that's it. And see, this is the reason why people who speak some non-stuff like this is the reason why you're gonna turn people away. When you don't use the wisdom of God, not the wisdom of not be selective wisdom, but the wisdom of God to win people. You don't salt people like that. You don't salt your own people. Some people, some of our people ain't perfect, but some of us is. I mean, that's just crazy. That's just crazy talk, and that's crazy. I agree with Go Black. We don't know any those people, and that's the truth. There's some people don't even want to go to church. Black people don't even want to go to church with people that's in Africa, and as Africans probably don't want to be in the same room in the church room as Black Americans. Some, not all, but some. Which is stupid. And the only reason why I'm speaking is I've seen it. And we don't take time to sit down, not just but any part of the world. We just make some assumptions about a part of the world we don't even know nothing about. Some of us never even been out this, like myself, we ain't never been out the country. Some of us don't even do any reading and study on the doggone country. We never even talk to anybody from the people from these countries. But we're going to sit there and make insinuation like this? It's just because whatever the media tells you, you don't think the media sometimes manipulate things to make you see what they see until you see it for yourself? That's what Go Black was saying. They'll paint what they want to show you, but they'll show you everything. And some people that's probably from the country, that's probably here in America, they can tell you they sell. They know some things are right, and they know some things is bull crap. To make them make it look like they bad. That's what's wrong with people. They believe what they see, but they never encounter and find it. Go get the resource for yourself. At least talk to somebody for yourself before you make any accusation. At least find out where they're coming from. I mean, like I said, God has blessed me because we go among people that were from different places from the continent. But see, I had an open mind. Some people from parts of Latin America and elsewhere, because I had an open mind. I didn't just make assumptions. Because I don't know. I never been out this country. And I went darn make some accusation like that and insult those people on their continent of Africa, in those countries in Africa, so they didn't build nothing. You just limit your ministry, you don't even know it. Saying something stupid. And then let it be put out on video that goes over all over the world. Saying something dumb like that. Yeah, I'm glad he called him out for that. That's ignorant. And that was not of God. That's not of God. God don't approve of nothing like that. And maybe if his ministry been big, and think about it, can reach people here and it can be reach people around the world. Because people will watch what you say. That's what's wrong with some of us. We don't use wisdom. We don't use godly wisdom. We just spurred up off the mouth. I've seen, and I made comments on different individuals, and just spurred up like Umar Johnson, different individuals, Cynthia, and different individuals. You just say something, and people run it with a grain of salt. You just say something, and the crazy thing about it is some people sit back and agree with what they say, and don't know firsthand for themselves. You go by what they say because you just love their crazy personality, and don't know facts for yourself, because some people are lazy to go find out things for themselves. But I'm about to get off here. But yeah, that's ignorant. Like I said, you hurt yourself from reaching out. When you especially when you say it and it's going video worldwide, people are watching what you're doing. People are watching. You know, whatever you do, the whole world watching us. They're watching us, taking note. And there's some people, and he's right. There's some people that probably definitely don't want to come to America after what they see, what Go Black was saying. What's so great, like he said, some of the stuff we pushed on people, the immorality. We one of the nations invented that immorality on some things. I'm sorry, half of us is due. Western morality on someone against their tradition, and their tradition is off course. Their having a traditional family is off course, while our family is breaking apart. But yeah, maybe a monetary value or their financial system is not like us, but look what's happening, and maybe their dollar value is not like us, but look what's happening to us now. We sliding downhill. We in a recession. Some of us Americans are live just about as poor as people in other part of the world. You got people living out on the streets in tents and stuff like that. Some of it is for no fault of their own. Since we chastise the world about their poverty and what they do with their people, we need to reflect about what we do in this country among our own people. Because we don't treat, these people don't even treat people here right. For whatever reason. But I just, yeah, people like that is very embarrassing. And to the people who, from other places, we're sorry. People like that don't represent whole America. And I'm glad some of us that speak like Go Black speak out about it. Because you got people here that represent different places in the world that are right here in your own backyard. And you don't think they don't see that and know that they know what you're saying in English? And some of them probably know English over there, but they got translation over there. And saying, really? It's not wise. It's not wise whatsoever to just say about things that you don't know nothing about people. At least if you talk to people, get to know people. And I'm a big affirm, study and research before you go to another country. Make some friends online with people. If you're going to make some people from the different countries in Africa before you start spurting something out. Meet some business people. They're right all around us, especially in places like New York. Have you talked to some people, some pastors from New York that's from different places in Africa, countries in Africa? No. Sit down and break bread with them. You just have a conversation. Instead of just something, whatever. Because you hurting them too. They hurt because even though that they of the Lord, but that's their people. And like I said, whatever we do and whatever you put over the internet, it does. And that goes for all of us, man. We have to watch what we say, what we think. Because you never know. God might bless me to go out the country. But before I go, even if I don't see something over this not right, maybe I don't feel it's the right to my expression, at least we're doing it in a respectful way. Be balanced about it. You got some people that go, there's a few individuals that did that and just it's off the chain, and it's just made people mad, made the whole country mad. He said, don't bring your butt over here, no. But anyway, I'm going, you got to use some wisdom, man. Even if you go to islands, even if you go to some place in whatever island you go to outside the U.S. borders, use some wisdom. Use some God wisdom. Because what you say could be held against you in the court of the world. Sometimes it depends on the country, in the court of law. All right then, guys. You have a good one. Till next time. James out.